G'day mates, it's the Doctor here, and this is a video I have wanted to make for a long time, Yu-Gi-Oh products I want to see happen. Originally I was going to make this a top 10 list, but I figured some of them could be included with what I'm about to share, and to keep the focus on 5 products I really want to see become a reality. As usual, when I make these types of videos, I want to see what you guys think. Maybe you can come up with better ideas than me. And without any more dilly-dallying, let's discuss some products. Number 5. Seeing the Light. This is meant to be a follow-up to Shadows in Valhalla / Fist of the Gadget, focusing on water-based decks and light attribute archetypes. For the C part, I would like to see more support for Mermales, as they are still one of my favourite decks of all time, and Atlantean Mermales was a competitive deck for a short while. However, one could argue they are already getting more support with the Deep Sea Diva cards in Eternity Code. But I'm specifically talking about Mermales on their own, utilizing the power of rank 4, rank 7, and even rank 3 monsters for some extreme firepower. In fact, when Mermales were in their prime, I used to use a field spell to easily summon number 92 Heart Earth Dragon and win my duels with that card. Either way, regardless whether you prefer Mermales on their own or Atlantean Mermales, I think we can all agree they desperately need some reprints in order to make the Deep Sea Diva cards more useful, as they're fairly old at this point. As for the light side of the sea side, there are plenty of options that need reprints and newer support, such as Cyber Angels, Ojamas, Arcana Force, Agents, and Yugi Silent Monsters. If I have to pick one of them, it would be Cyber Angels, because I believe they need more main deck monsters, similar to Cyber Petite Angel and Cyber Egg Angel. Perhaps alternate versions of Blade Skater, Etoile Cyber, or a ritual version of Cyber Blader. I mean, I don't know much about the art form of ballet, but I'm sure it's a concept Konami can explore much more in depth for future card ideas. Number 4. A World Legacy set. When the era of Brain started with Code of a Duelist, they began a storyline with a series of cards called the World Legacy. These range from World Chalice, Crawler, Mech Knight, Nightmare, Crusadia, Orchist, and Guard Dragon. I would see a set like this as a box, similar to the Legendary Collection sets, not only containing booster packs with these archetypes, but also a booklet telling the story. And the booklet itself will show pictures of the cards when the events occur in the World Legacy storyline. This idea I strongly believe can work because all these decks have been played at tournaments from Tier 1 to Rogue Play, so there is some competitive value as well as something for casual players and collectors. And speaking of Legendary Collections, number 3, Legendary Collection Zexal. Zexal is probably the most divided Yu-Gi-Oh era among fans. Some like it, some hate it, but either way there were some great decks in this generation. From Photon Galaxies, Heroics, Trains, Gagagas, Chronomalies, Gimmick Puppets, and my personal favorite, Heraldic Beasts. Now, I understand the original is the most iconic Yu-Gi-Oh generation, which explains why they have not 1 but 4 different legendary collections. But isn't it fair to say other generations deserve a chance? Like GX and 5Ds have one, so is it not the Zexal's era's time to shine, to high-five the sky? And how can I overlook the highlight of Zexal? Number cards! Even today, from 3 generations onwards, we still haven't received a complete list of number monsters, so a set like this can fill in those gaps. In addition, we can have upgraded versions of certain numbers such as, I don't know, Chaos Number 17 Leviathan Dragon. Why was it this card became forgotten about and never received a Chaos version? Kinda feels like the Flame Wingman of Zexal. To summarize, Legendary Collection Zexal has a ton of potential. So many necessary reprints, so many ways to improve his older decks, and just as many ways to make the fans happy. Number 2. A Madolche structure deck. Madolches is what I would call a scattered archetype. These guys have never been released in a coherent set, only in bits and pieces over the years. When it comes to structure decks, these sets should never be underestimated just because they're really easy to build. After all, take a look at Salamangreats, Shaddolls, heck even dinosaurs still make the rounds today. What I like about Madolches is their uniqueness, shuffling themselves into the deck when they are destroyed instead of going to the graveyard. And come on, we're talking about chocolates and lollies. Not that kind of lolly! As of right now, if someone was to have a playset of every single Madolche card, would that make them one of the strongest meta decks in the game? Not exactly. The biggest problem with Madolches from my perspective is how they're unable to swarm the field and replenish themselves like many other current decks. Petting-Cessor and Salon are good additions, but I think they need a tad more support to increase their consistency. I hope Madolches will one day reach their full potential, and if Konami were to announce a structure deck, I would lose my mind and have extremely high hopes. And the number one Yu-Gi-Oh set I really want to see is a behind-the-scenes book. Yes, this is a product that doesn't focus on selling cards, granted you can still throw in promotional cards, but I would like to know what exactly goes into Yu-Gi-Oh! How do they come up with these artworks, characters, and story arcs that stick with us? Because when you take a step back, there is some truly amazing art within these cards. Like, look at Volcanic Doomfire. Shouldn't that be a Godzilla-sized kaiju? Or how about Borolo Dragon with a gun barrel for a chest that spins around like a generator? How crazy is that? We could also have answers to our biggest questions regarding the anime. Such as, whatever happened to Bastion's Fire Dragon? Why didn't the Arcadia movement have a more significant role in 5Ds despite being an organization of psychic duelists? Why do the number cards possess the holders? What is up with that ending to Arc 5? And the biggest question of them all, what was the original storyline for Firewall Dragon? Longtime Yu-Gi-Oh fans would love to see what goes on behind the scenes because a lot of fascinating stories come out of studios, and one thing we do know from Yu-Gi-Oh was that Crow was originally going to be a dark signer, but because Black Wings exploded in popularity, Konami decided to keep Crow as another main character. So if that is one case what goes on behind the scenes, I'm sure there's plenty more stories and some we may never thought of asking. But that is going to be the end of the video, and tell me what you guys think of these products. Do you have other product ideas yourself? And please also subscribe and ring the bell because last week I lost 3 subscribers overnight and I've heard this is a recurring issue on YouTube. But I hope you enjoyed this discussion, and until next time, take care, mates.